Good evening, friends. Happy Monday. Happy fall. How is everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tired. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is part 3 of our 4-part series called Turning Over a New Leaf. And this particular episode is really important to me. It is something that I personally struggled with for many, many years. And so I hope that throughout the course of tonight's episode that you find it helpful. And I thank you so much for being here. Hi, Isadora. And hello to anybody who's lurking. First and foremost, just a couple of housekeeping things. I just want to say I apologize. I've been a little all over the place lately, just lots going on, and I've been feeling a bit poorly. Nothing serious, just my allergies, my sinuses, and so I've had to sort of like reschedule a few things, and so I appreciate your patience. So just to recap, for those of you that are sort of just tuning in, this is, as I said, the third installment of a 4-part series called Turning Over a New Leaf. In the first week, we talked about what does it mean to turn over a new leaf. Well, a new leaf is not a leaf, it's a leaf of paper, right? So it's like a fresh start, a clean slate, if you will. And we talked about being the author of our own book and creating an arc for ourselves. A character arc, if you were writing a book, would be the obstacles and the challenges that you put in front of your main character, and then how your main character navigates those challenges. And we talked about reviewing our own arcs to point out different lessons that we've learned along the way to help us identify, behaviors or situations and how we feel about those, right? The second week, we talked about inspired action. And what does inspired action mean? How do we go about it? How do we understand it? How do we do it? All of that kind of stuff. So this week, we are talking about our inner desires. Hi, Ellen. And I'm going to do some readings for you guys later on. But right now, I want to talk about inner desires. So let's go back to inspired action. Inspired action refers to taking action that is motivated by a deep sense of purpose, passion, and inspiration, right? It is an action that's not driven by external pressures or obligations, but rather an inner desire to create, to contribute, or achieve something really meaningful. And so we're going to explore that inner desire. Now, I want to say, before we get too far along, I did a whole lot of searching on the internet for different information, and there is a plethora of theories and statements and understandings of what inner desire is and what it means and how to achieve it, how to understand it, how to navigate it. So I encourage you, when this is over, if you're interested, to do some of your own research. But I want to take you back to a point in time so I can explain to you why we are here and why this is so important to me. When I was first diagnosed with anxiety panic disorder, my doctor suggested that I speak to someone, and there I was on the phone speaking to this someone, my very first phone call with them. And my homework was, what makes Kelly happy? If it was a test, I failed it. And literally, I sat there for months, which then turned into years, and I could not identify what made me happy. The fact that I couldn't identify what made me happy, I cannot really articulate into words what that did to me. It sent me on a path of complete destruction and depression. And so I want to caution you when we're talking about this, that there is no right and there is no wrong answer, right? You don't have to find a thing to say that you have a thing that you could put a label next to what is, your inner desire. That's important to say, first and foremost. Hi, Kristen. So, inner desires. What are our inner desires? What does that mean? Your innermost desire describes the essential feelings that form the foundation of our character. These feelings are basic, right? Very, very basic. Oftentimes, we're not even aware of what they truly are, like in my case. When our innermost desires are involved, oftentimes we are moved right to the fiber of our being. And so that's sort of a clue as you navigate forward, that when you come upon an inner desire, that you should feel it. Like you really should feel it. Okay. Hi, Vivian. Hi, Joe. Good to see you guys. So, what are some examples of inner desire? People want autonomy, right? People want to be able to make choices and to be able to express themselves freely, to live without constraint. The desire to find internal peace and emotional stability is common, and people seek practices like meditation and mindfulness. Get down, Quince. Get down. Get down. And therapy to achieve a sense of that calm and that well-being, so that they can tap into what makes them happy, or to bring out some of their inner desires. And I love that, what Joe Smo said, survival, primal. Yeah. And Kristen, absolutely, belonging, acceptance, respect. And this is the other part of this. Like it is individual, right? Like everybody is different. So there is no right or wrong answer. Now, according to some of the research that I did, we have 4 sort of like main inner desires. According to ancient wisdom, the 4 aims, that's what they call them, the 4 aims of life are purpose, prosperity, pleasure, and freedom. And the combination of those 4 things provide us with a roadmap to achieving our most fulfilling, joyful, meaningful life. It is what is considered the key to lasting happiness. So let's say that you are sitting here and you're like, okay, Kelly, I'm going to try to figure out what my inner desires are. So what are some questions that you could ask yourself? Like tonight, before you go to bed, when you're journaling, for example, what are some questions that you could ask yourself? What makes you happy? What are your personal values? What would you do if there was no limits or boundaries placed on you? What are some of your needs? What activities can you do or do you enjoy doing that put you in a state of flow, right? Where, like, all the planets have aligned, all the stars are lined up perfectly, and you're just going like that. Now, I said in the beginning, Kristen, and I don't know if you heard me, but I did give sort of like a warning to this, if you will. This particular topic is really important to me because when I was first diagnosed with anxiety panic disorder, the doctor, connected me with someone to speak to. And one of the first things that they said to me was, "What makes you happy?" And for months, which then turned into years, I struggled to find anything that made me happy. And that sent me into like some kind of spiral. And so I don't want you guys to think about this, to dive into it, that you have to have an answer. It could be something that's very surface level, or it can be something that is really, with like internal, right? So just navigate this as it feels comfortable to you. Okay. Just a couple more examples of some of the things that we can ask ourselves to bring about a conversation with yourself, because that's what this is about, right? To figure out the things that make you tick, the things that bring you joy, the things that bring you happiness, the things that make you feel calm and present and open are our inner desires, right? Because what we're aiming for are those 4 things: purpose, prosperity, pleasure, and freedom, right? So sometimes it's easier to consider a list of what doesn't do it for us as opposed to what does do it for us, if that makes sense. Do you guys have any questions so far? Quincy is listening intently. So you could ask yourself, like on that point, right? What upsets you? What makes you angry? What makes you jealous? What makes you envious? Like those kinds of things, right? Instead of putting like that kind of pressure on yourself, right? The 4 again, they are, I'll put them in the chat, Joe. By the way, that was good. I should have done that before. We have purpose. We have prosperity. We have hold on, I have to find my note. We have pleasure and freedom. Hi, Teresa. And I think that at some level, we have all had that moment where we're like, what is happening now is not working for me. Like, I'm not resonating with this. This doesn't speak to me. I need to like do something totally different, right? We've all had that moment. We've all had that understanding where I need to figure out what it is that I want. And we all know that there's levels of needs, right? Like sometimes it feels almost desperate. Like I have to know the answer to this, right? Yet if I can crack the code to this thing, then all of these other things are going to fall into place. This is not meant to be intense. This is not meant to cause you any kind of distress. This is just food for thought. That's all it is, right? Absolutely, Ellen. That's an excellent point. That's why I suggested that, right? Sometimes it's easier if you can see things for what they're not as opposed to what they are, right? Especially when you're looking at it from a perspective of I'm trying to find an answer. So, hopefully everybody understands where we're going with this, right? Our inner desires. Make it real simple and think about something that brings you joy. So for me, doing this brings me joy. Hanging out with all of you guys, having these kinds of conversations where we all are supporting each other and helping each other navigate whatever life throws at us, right? Good, bad, or otherwise. Exactly. My cats bring me joy, 100%. Right? So, what are our purposes? Well, that could be what I feel my purpose in life is, or I know that, I bring routine to my house, right? I am the organizer of the family. And that is a function that I have that I believe keeps us all sort of moving in a good kind of way, right? In a positive, optimistic way. Everybody starts their day off on the right foot if I organize everybody's morning. Do you know what I mean? So that could be a purpose. Bringing the information to you guys, listening, me throwing cards for you guys, my spiritual whole, like my channel, right? That could be my purpose. What brings me pleasure? The sunshine, fall, sitting outside. The fact that my 20th wedding anniversary is in 2 days. Okay, Quincy, you cannot sit here, honey. Get down. Thank you. And then freedom. And this is a good point that Kristen brings up about freedom, because everyone looks at these things from a different perspective. I look at freedom as contentment, freedom from having the constraints of anxiety sort of, with that dark cloud over my head every day. I feel free from that now. Freedom for me is this, think of a pot of pasta sauce, right? Or like a stew or a soup that you put on the stove and you keep adding to it and you just sort of simmer it over time, right? And the longer that it cooks, the longer that those ingredients are all mixed together, that all those flavors are blending and emphasizing each other and stimulating each other. And it's just this beautiful sort of combination of things that are just perfect. That's not freedom to me. Freedom to me is just, today is going to be a good day. That's freedom to me. I don't look into it that deeply. Do you understand what I mean? So Kristen says, and I love this, some people want freedom from a kind of protection from negative influence, and others want freedom to a liberation from expectation or constraint. 100%. It's an excellent point, Kristen. Now, you guys know that I am, and I say this in all of my readings, right? It's food for thought. Gentle guidance, put some pep in your step. It just makes you think. So maybe there's something that you have always wanted to do, and for whatever reason, you put it off. Well, maybe after tonight's conversation, you sit back before you go to bed and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to put that off. I'm going to try that. Maybe before you go to bed and you're journaling, you're going to say, you know what? I have everything that I need. I am exactly where I need to be, and I am so grateful. And that is amazing. This is not in any way to indicate that you need to do stuff or you don't need to do stuff. It's just something to think about, right? And if you happen to be looking for, searching for your purpose or your passion or your freedom, maybe it will bring forward some ideas, some suggestions, some thoughts. And at worst, have some fun while you test all these out, right? So I would like to do some readings for you guys. If you guys have any more questions, do let me know. I would like to do some readings, and what I would like to do is use those 4 categories: purpose, prosperity, pleasure, and freedom. I'll pull a card for each of those, and we'll sort of do our individual readings based on those 4 components, if that makes sense. That's interesting, Joe. Freedom is a fundamental commodity in a relationship or be left behind. You know, like I said, I think that this is very individual, and I think that a lot of people will have different experiences and different responses. And that's what I think is beautiful about this, right? I come from an understanding that knowledge is power. And so the more knowledge I have about something, the better equipped I am to navigate it, the better I feel about, facing a situation or dealing with something. When you have a general understanding or a better understanding of something, you feel like you have all the equipment that you need. And that's what this is about. So do you guys have anything that you want to add or anything that you want to say? Any questions? Do you understand where we're going with this? I think that if you look at this whole sort of 3-part series that we have done, so part 1 is your arc, part 2 is your inspired action. How do you do it? How do you apply it? What is it? All of the things. And then this one here, right, with our inner desires. All of these things are leading towards putting your best foot forward, lifting you up, you living your highest and best life, right? That's what all of this is about. Back to turning over a new leaf. It's a new start, a fresh opportunity. That's what it's all about. Well, it was good to see you, Joe. Thank you so much for popping in. I do appreciate it. Kristen says, it definitely gives me angst trying to figure out my purpose. I wonder if I have no ultimate purpose, and I'm learning to be okay with that. Yeah. When we put those kinds of constraints on ourselves, right? Like, what is our purpose? I don't think that the goal is to cause angst, although I've been in that position, as I said. I think the goal is to open up an inner dialogue with yourself, right? And I think the reason that we're opening up the dialogue with ourselves is because we're trying to figure something out, right? So we are approaching this from a standpoint of, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? Which means that the thing that you're doing now is not fulfilling, or at least that's not how you're feeling. Hi, Allie. It's good to see you, my friend. How are you doing? And so, again, I don't want anyone to feel like, don't zoom into this from a place of, I need an answer. I must have an answer. Because we don't need to have an answer. You don't need to write a word down on a sheet of paper to say, this is what my purpose is. Oh, phew, thank you. You know, I can cross that question off. That's not what this is about. But if you are trying to figure out what makes you happy, what brings you joy, if there's something else that you've been dreaming of or thinking of or wanting to explore, then go there. Right? Because otherwise, and this is just my opinion, we're just putting a label on something just to say that we've got that. Right? And who's to say that we have one purpose? I mean, maybe you have 20 purposes. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm going to do myself as an example, and these are the categories that we're going to draw from. So I'm going to pull 4 cards from myself. So this is my inner desire, right? My 4 aims, my purpose, my prosperity, my pleasure, and my freedom. Just to give you guys an example of how this goes. You know, I sort of feel like I lost you guys on this, and I hope that I didn't. I hope it makes sense. I hope that this is helpful in some way. I don't want anyone walking away from here going, that didn't make any sense, or feeling any kind of stress that you have to have answers to these questions. As I said, it is just food for thought. So my first card has come out. For purpose, I got abundance, and I'll show this to you. For prosperity, I got purification. For pleasure, I got love. And freedom, forgiveness. I mean, friends, abundance. So my purpose is to feel abundant, to feel embraced, to feel all encompassed, right? To feel lifted and loved and content and peaceful, hopeful, right? My prosperity is the purification. To me, that's an understanding, right? To rid myself of being a hostage to fear and just embracing the simplicity of life. Right? The healing, if you will, right? The pleasure is from love, you know, approaching things from a different standpoint, from a different understanding of being open instead of closed, and embracing that love, its joy and its blessings, right? And just living in the moment instead of living in my rearview mirror all the time, right? Being so afraid of everything. That is my pleasure. Oh, thank you, Allie. Love you, my friend. Appreciate you. And my freedom is forgiveness. To me, this is, I can stop blaming myself, right? I can stop being so upset and hurt and affected, really, by the pains of the past. My freedom is to break that pattern and move to the present. So those are my inner desires, and they totally resonate with me. They completely make sense to me. Now, there's only 3 of you here, so I don't know where the heck everybody has gone, but that's okay. Let me know if you guys want a reading. If you don't, that's okay. If you have any questions, let's talk about them. And put my hair up because I'm hot. I thought that it was cool enough that I could leave it down, but apparently not. Sure thing, Kristen. All right. Well, that's a great look, isn't it? Friends, I need a haircut in the worst way. All right. So for Kristen, thank you, my friend. You're very kind. You're very kind. Oh, I love this. So purpose, Kristen, happiness. There's like a simplistic sort of vibe that I'm getting from that, right? Like you just want to wake up, open up the drapes, look at the sunshine and be like, today's a good day for a good day. You know what I mean? You don't want to look beyond that. Prosperity, we have embracing. So I feel like for, how do I say this? That it's like you want to squeeze every ounce out of whatever the moment is, right? Like you want to be open to all the experiences and you want to get everything out of that experience that you can, right? There's like this feeling of being very present. Okay. Yep. All right. Pleasure, empowerment. From standing in your truth to that journey of self-discovery and keeping that dialogue with yourself open in terms of doing like self-reflection and, you know, really listening to your heart, to your mind, and your freedom. I mean, how beautiful is that? Is closure. You know, like how you have that box where you keep stuff in it. And every once in a while you tell yourself you should go through that box. And you do. And then it brings stuff up. But for whatever reason, you can't bring yourself to like get rid of the stuff in the box. To me, this is like taking the box to the curb. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks, Kristen. I'm glad that resonates, that makes sense. And the other thing about this too is that when you pull these cards, we're in no way looking at this as that we're lacking something, right? This is a confirmation that you're doing all the things right, that you're on the right path, that you're on the right track, right? That if you continue to have conversations with yourself and open that inner dialogue, if you continue to strengthen your connection with spirit and listen to your guides, that you will be on the destination path that you need to be on, right? And sometimes we're not aware of that because we're so busy, feeding from and taking from external influence, right? We're supposed to be here, we're supposed to be doing this, etc., right? Or that imaginary destination that we put in our head. I use the example, I need to lose 20 pounds in 2 months, like that kind of thing. We put that into our minds, and that's not really what it is. We have told ourselves that that's what it is. And so I don't want you guys to look at this, that this is something that you need to do, that you need to fix, that there's an answer that you must have because this is the ticket to success. That's not what this is about. Anybody else want a reading? I mean, listen to me. I'm like the carnival lady, right? Readings. Get your readings here. Well, I'm going to have a smoke while you guys think about whether or not you want a reading. It is a quiet night. It's one of those things. I have learned a long time ago that when I started this channel, sometimes when we do these topics that make people think, not everybody wants to share, and that's totally okay. Not everybody is ready, willing, and able on, when Kelly decides that this is the time I need to go live because it's convenient for me, that you're ready, willing, and able to sit down and open up and think about these things. And sometimes this can be heavy, and not everybody's into that, and I totally get it, and I totally understand it. Like I said, it's food for thought. If it helped one person, or if it made one person think of it in a different way, then that's a good thing. Hi, Mary. How are you, love? And of course, feel free. I mean, you guys can do this for yourself, right? If you happen to have tarot cards or oracle cards at home, you can pull cards for yourself. I don't know what is going on with these animals, but they are just going cray-cray. If you guys can hear them in the background, cats are running, the dog's barking. It's real live streaming happening here, friends. And I just noticed that my calendar is still on the 14th. You guys see that? I like that, Isadora. Serenity comes when you trade expectations for acceptance. There's so much pressure that we put on ourselves, like I was saying before, right? Where the environment, our parents. Like for me, when I graduated high school, when I was going to college, I was the first person in my family, on one side of my family anyways, that had accomplished that. And I don't know that anyone was putting necessarily pressure on me, but it was said to me so often, in a sense, like, we're so proud of you, right? that I felt, I internalized that as pressure, an expectation that I wasn't sure that I could actually live up to, right? Like, what if I failed? Oh my God. Those kinds of things can really do a number on us without us even being aware that they're doing a number on us, right? I'm going to out my husband here. So I said in the beginning that Wednesday is our 20th wedding anniversary. And my husband actually said to me tonight, what do you want? I want to get you something nice. And I said, it's not necessary to get me something special. Like, I already have every blessing that I could possibly imagine, right? And I mean, I appreciate it. And then I joked and I said, and what do you mean asking me on, 2 days before you want to get me something special? You should have been thinking about this for months now. But just the expectation that I don't know if he felt that I should have something special or that he should give me, you know what I mean? Like, there's that expectation that he's supposed to do something in that moment. I know I'm horrible, aren't I, Kristen? I'm like, what? You should have been thinking about this for months. You mean there's no big party? There's no plan? Okay. I don't know how we made it this far. And what I mean by that is I don't know how he's put up with me for this long is where I was going with that. I can be quite a handful. And my journey over the last, not so much now, but my journey for a long time was very difficult for us as a couple and for us individually. So, oh no, he's the sweetest guy on the planet. I'm so lucky. I was just bugging him, just teasing him. I much prefer to have someone ask me, what is it that you want? What can I do to make you happy? I mean, what a blessing, right? As opposed to someone who's just like, who cares? It's a busy week at our house because he has an inventory that he has to do this weekend, so he's been prepping for that for weeks at work. And because he's the boss, it all falls on his shoulders if anything is wrong or not right or whatever. And so that's been a lot of like extra time and extra effort that he's been putting in. Rosie had her issue that the vet has said is like a seasonal allergy. So that was a little bit of a moment in time where we were like, we don't know what the heck is wrong with her. We don't know why she's having these problems. The energy has been a little crazy. I don't know if y'all have been feeling it, but since that full moon, it sort of threw me around a little bit. And I don't normally react to full moons, or at least that is my, double touch wood. That's my experience. The weather here has been awful. We have been in like the 30s, so like high 90s, 100 every single day for like the last 2 weeks. It's been intense and brutal to the point where like you felt like uncomfortable when you came outside, right? So we will be glad when this week is over. And then we can just like get on with it, if you know what I mean. Hi, Linda. Like it's almost Thanksgiving for us, right? Thanksgiving is the second week in October. So the idea that we're supposed to sit down to turkey when it's like 30 degrees is a little weird, right? So it doesn't really feel right. And I broke my fluorite today. I have a fluorite tower, or well, I had. I broke it today. It cracked right in half. Look. Oh, I'm sorry, Isadora. That's an awful feeling when you feel like, the whole thing just goes kaboom on you. So we will, just to recap. So I originally wanted to do some fall equinox readings for you guys. And I was supposed to do that last night, but we decided to have a really nice ham dinner, and I love ham. It's one of my favorites. Anyway, it wasn't ready in time, and I was running late, and so I switched the stream to Wednesday, because I wasn't thinking, hello, it's your anniversary, dingbat. So I'm gonna have to change that. I don't know if I can do it tomorrow or not. I'll see. Friday, for those of you that are interested, we have Stephanie from Trillium Tarot coming back, going to show us some new tarot decks, and we'll do that. That's on Friday at 8. And then next week we'll do part 4 of this, and on Sunday I'm going to try and do some October energy readings. So all of that to say, make sure your bell notification is checked off so you don't miss anything. I just got all my camera stuff worked out. I thought that everything was fine. And when I tried to tune into this tonight, I had to unplug my secondary camera. So I have 2 cameras, right? And for whatever reason, like, it's not recognizing this camera. It's only recognizing the secondary camera when I come to do my streams, which is not the way it's supposed to be. And then when I plug my secondary camera back in, that's when I had all those problems, and it glitched in and out. And I thought maybe the cats ate one of the wires or something. It's a whole situation. So I thought I had it fixed, and now tonight it's not working again. So I don't know what's going on. The joys, friends. And did I mention to you guys that StreamYard, this is for you if you're listening. So StreamYard is a streaming service that a lot of content creators use on different YouTube channels because it's just easy to navigate and make it super user-friendly. And apparently StreamYard has been purchased by another company. Well, we just got our price increases. So not only have they changed all of our packages, which means what you're entitled to, what you get, what you don't. And yes, you can still do a free version of StreamYard, but it doesn't give you what you get when you pay for it. Obviously, that makes sense. Now, I don't know what I pay now. I have to be honest. I don't know what I pay now. But the price has increased to, for me, Canadian, $44 and change per month. $44 and change per month. That is nuts. And so I will be finding another streaming service because that is not acceptable. Like, that is 125 10%-ish increase. It's not that user-friendly, sorry. I mean, I love it, and I would recommend it to anybody, but that was unexpected and not cool. So, if you're listening, StreamYard, not happy. Yeah, that's a good idea, Linda. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. At least 125% increase. Not pleased. Anywho, so I guess I'll let you guys go now that I've finished complaining and going on. I'm sorry that you guys didn't find this helpful, or you know, not everything I come up with is a great idea. But for anyone that's going to listen to this back later, I hope that in some way it works. It resonates. It's informative. Gives you something to think about. Oh, did you, Linda? Sorry. Listen, I've lost more stones in my house than I care to admit because the cats think they're like their toys. Oh, thanks, Kristen. Appreciate you, my friend. So, I guess I'm going to go and get on with my evening. And you guys get on with your evening. I hope that you have a great night. And I hope that you have a good day tomorrow. The wellness reading is coming out on Wednesday. We were talking about our inner desires, Linda, in sort of combination or in connection to the other things that we've been talking about in the Turning Over a New Leaf series. And it was based on these four words that are here: your purpose, your prosperity, your pleasure, and your freedom. And it is not intended to make you feel like you have to have a purpose or an answer or a direction. It is just, something to think about. If you are in search of something that makes you happy or something that brings you joy, or if it is a situation where there's something that you've always wanted to do and you want to explore it, but you keep putting it off, maybe this conversation will sort of, lead you in a direction. Yeah, life is purpose, right? Oh, thanks, Isadora. I'm glad that you found it helpful, my friend. Oh, I'm sorry, Isadora, that you're going through a lot. Let's send some giant hugs out to Isadora. We are never alone, friends. We are never alone. And so I don't want you guys to feel that way. There is always someone here to support and to lift you up, right? And I have no idea what's going on with you, Isadora, and I'm not asking you to share What I am suggesting, though, is that maybe you give yourself an opportunity where you can sort of sit quiet, have a conversation with spirit, ask for some protection, ask for some help. You can do that, before you go to sleep, and you can ask them to come to you in your dreams to provide you with a message or some clarification, some answers, some help. But maybe have a conversation with spirit and your guides and your angels and ask them to, give you some guidance. The most important thing to do, I think, is to not feel overwhelmed, if possible, to ground yourself and make sure that you are giving yourself everything that you need so that you feel that you have the strength to endure whatever the situation is, whatever the challenge may be that's in front of you, right? Good stuff. How about a postcard from Spirit, Isadora? Do you want a postcard from Spirit? Well, if I can get the box out. I find that postcard from Spirit is usually very, very poignant, very meaningful, and usually spot on. I'll give you one of these. This is a hard picture to see, but it's a lovely, like a sort of almost like a portal that has, or like an arch, like an opening that has all these lovely leaves and a cherub sitting at the top of it. Which I love that it feels like there's protection there. Aw, I'm sorry, Isadora. All right, here we go. Dearest you, we are sending you waves of love and joy as we watch you reap the rewards of your tenacity and faith. We know how long it has taken for you to reach some of your goals and that you've had disappointments along the way. Right now, we suggest you take a deep breath and fill yourself up with gratitude and tune in to the vibration of well-being. Temporary conditions may be trying to hypnotize you into seeing something else as your reality. But we know that happy rewards are on their way to you even now. Change is the only constant, so be open to it. You will achieve your dreams and more, we promise. But more important, your happy rewards will be gathered up in the small moments, the gentle breezes, the soft kisses, and the quiet commitments. Your happiest moments will be on the journey itself, not in arriving at any destination. You are surrounded by so much love and care. Can you feel us? So, I'm not trying to get inside your head, Isadora. I'm just going based off of this card and what you said. I thought I was doing someone a favor and got kicked in the head instead. This feels to me like this is a message to you, to say to you that there are good things coming from what you did, or whatever the favor was that you did, that the person's reaction or feeling towards the action that you did is not what's important. It's about you. And like I said before, I even pulled this card, right, to get in touch with spirit, to ask them for help, to ask them for guidance. And then we pulled this card, and I said that looked to me like a portal with the angel sitting on top, right? That is like the journey, right? Like you're going towards, the light, the positivity, the happiness, the hope. And I mean no disrespect when I say this. I don't care if it was 12 people who came down on you. Right? What I mean in that statement is I can't make you feel something. Right? And if I can make you feel something, perhaps you need to put some more boundaries up. In other words, I can't make you feel bad about yourself, right? Obviously, we know that nobody should make you feel bad, blah, 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 so on and so forth. I say, without knowing anything about it, you struck a nerve that they didn't want struck. And just going off of the surface without knowing any of the details, again, not asking you to share, but if that person or those people turned on you for trying to do something good, if they know you, they know it came from a good place. If they don't understand that, that's on them. That's not on you, right? You put some boundaries up to protect yourself, because boundaries are about you, not about them. And if they don't see your good, your kindness, your compassion, your love, and I would be like, see that? Talk to that. That's what I would do. I would go up and have that conversation with spirit, open that channel up and ask for guidance from there, as opposed to worrying about, someone's feelings. Now, I am assuming that you have had a conversation, that you have tried to explain, to express, maybe even apologize. Doesn't seem like it's, that it's falling on deaf ears. Again, that's not on you. That's on them. And so you need your space to figure it out. They need their space to figure it out. But in the meantime, I care about you. We care about you. We want you to be okay. If you know that it came from a good place and that your intentions were pure, then I don't want you worrying about this. I don't want you stressing about this. There isn't, if there is anything else that you could have done, you would have done it. to kick sand in your face to make you feel bad, that's not cool. Regardless of the reasons that it was done. It's not good. So you need to forgive yourself if they were made to feel some sort of way by what you said. And you need to get on with it, right? You cannot take on their feelings and perpetuate upset, right? You can't do that to yourself. So listen, some people get off on just being mean, right? Or being mean-spirited. Some people don't even realize that they do that. Some people don't realize that that's where their head is at. And what I mean by that is, like, they may not be conscious and saying, like, oh, we're gonna kick sand in her face, we're gonna be like asses to her. I'm not saying that these people are doing that intentionally. What I'm saying is their reaction to what you did. Okay, you took it, you probably had a conversation about it, and now you're going to get on with it. And if you feel that they came down on you, okay, great. So I expressed how I felt, you expressed how you felt, you got to get on with your life, and I got to get on with my life, right? So you have two options. One, you can bury your head in the sand and be upset over it, or two, you can get on with it. And I choose get on with it, because you don't deserve to be feeling that way, right? Okay, so this is what I want you to do, Isadora. I want you to, when we are finished this, I want you to take out a sheet of paper. I want you to write down on this sheet of paper, what they did to you, how they made you feel, what you said, what they said, the reaction, the circumstance, all of the things. Really be honest in the writing, right, of how you feel and what their treatment to you has done. Sorry, it just got super loud here. Like, all of a sudden, it's like all the TVs just came on. Very weird. And then I want you to, when you're ready, I want you to read it out loud when you're finished, right? When all your thoughts and all your feelings are on that sheet of paper, I want you to read it out loud. And then I want you to rip it up into a million pieces, or burn it if it's safe to do so. And in that moment, when you've done that, when you ripped it up or when you burn it, you're going to reclaim your power. You're going to release those negative emotions, that upset, and you're going to send it out. And you're going to invite joy in. And you're going to reclaim your power. Because that was yesterday, today is today, and you have a procedure. Your health is more important than the upset of someone else. And if you have tried to explain or to have a discussion or whatever, there's nothing else that you can do. Right? Some time needs to come in and sort of help matters. But what's important in this moment is that you look after yourself to the best of your ability so that you can be in top form for your procedure, right? And so, again, release that negativity, invite the joy in, wipe the slate clean, empower yourself, right? So that you can face what you're facing. And yes, what Linda says, which is what I was saying, right? Ask for some help from your angels and your guides. Either a dog is walking by, or a raccoon, or a skunk, or something. Rosie's going crazy. But that's what I would do, my friend. Sometimes there are people in our lives that have, whether they're aware of it or not, they just have this thing where they want us to feel bad. And, you have to navigate that. Sometimes it's really tricky. And what I mean by that is this, I know that I came at this situation from a good place. I know that I tried to do the right thing. I know that I said I was sorry when you told me how you felt, but like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to feel bad for 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 months, 5 years? Like, you know what I mean? And sometimes when you simplify it and think of it in that term, you're like, yeah, like, no, I didn't mean anything by it. I said I was sorry. If you don't accept my apology, that's on you. That's not on me. I've got bigger things to worry about, like my health, for example. Yeah, she's in the living room with Mark, and sometimes, like the windows open, right? So sometimes, like a raccoon, because it looks to the side of our house, which is where the garage is. So sometimes a raccoon will go, between the house and the garage, and she freaks out, and that's what all the fuss is about. That's what I mean, Isidore, if that makes sense, right? To try and look at it that from that perspective. That's called putting boundaries around yourself and saying no, thank you. I'm not doing that. I'm not beating myself up so that you feel better about yourself. No. And I don't care who those people are to you. I don't care what relationship they are to you. That's not cool. And I'm not saying they're doing it intentionally. I don't mean that. What I'm saying is it's not cool that you're taking this and internalizing this, right? And here's the other thing, right? I want to say this because I think that it applies in this type of a situation or scenario. I don't think that a person's reaction to a situation is any kind of guide as to how they feel. In other words, I shouldn't have to be, in the fetal position, bawling my eyeballs out to prove that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, right? And that's kind of what I meant by the kicking the sand in your eyes. Like some people love it when you're down to just give you an extra shot of whatever to make you feel helpless, hopeless. That's not cool. Making you feel bad because they feel bad is never never the correct answer. And so, unfortunately, you need to find that power within yourself and that strength within yourself to lift yourself back up and be like, no, no, sorry. Unfortunately, it was a lesson that you needed to learn, or to be reminded of, when it comes to keeping yourself protected from people that may take advantage of you. Oh, hi, JR. I did see you pop in before, and I meant to say hello, but I was, I'm on my soapbox, friend. What can I say? Right? So try doing that. Another exercise that you can do, which is just like something in addition to that. You can write down in your journal before you go to bed tonight. These are the things that I worried about today. And that is the end of that, because today is ending, because I'm going to sleep. And when I go to sleep, I am going to reclaim my power tomorrow. Tomorrow is another day, right? I've given it all the energy I'm going to give it. Here's the thing. If you stress about it, okay, so let's just say if you freak out, if you cry and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Is it going to change the outcome? No. But is it going to make them talk to you again? Nope. It's not going to change anything. Except for that's all you're going to think about. You're going to live, breathe, and sleep, whatever this was. That's not right, nor is that fair. It's not helpful. And dare I say, that's not really friendship. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know if these people are friends or family or whatever, but like, there's nothing about that that's positive or good, right? So reclaim your power, my friend. And when you reclaim your power, what you're saying to yourself is that I am still a good person. Okay, maybe you screwed up. Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you said something and you thought it was hysterical and they thought it was a cheap shot. You know who you are. You know your intentions, and your friends and your family should know that too. And if they can't forgive you, you can't like throw yourself in front of traffic because of that. Like, no. Heck no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. No, 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 my friend. No, no, no. Remember what that card said. You are surrounded by so much love and care. Can you feel us? You can't feel the love unless you're open to it. And if you're focused on negativity, if you're focused on upset, if you're focused solely on fixing that they have said as an issue, right? You're not gonna feel this. So you're gonna release that energy, release that negativity, get rid of it, send it to where it needs to go, to be able to empower yourself, to surround yourself with love and understanding, and feel that embrace from spirit, right? That connection, and let that embrace you while you face what you're facing in your procedure, because that's what's important. All right. With that being said, my friend, I wish you the very best of luck on your medical procedure, of course. We're sending you lots of positive vibes and lots of love, lots of blessings. Please don't allow yourself to continue to be, embroiled in this feeling. If you meant well, you meant well. And if they misunderstood it, that's on them. That's not on you, right? Reclaim your power, get rid of the negative stuff, and just focus on what is important, what is in front of you. Okay. Now, for those of you that are tuning in late, this was the third part in a 4-part series. I think that it sort of fell on deaf ears. Some people gained from it, some people didn't. That is totally okay, because we're all in different places at different times. I will be back on. Here's the thing. I don't know when I'll be back. I'm supposed to be back on Wednesday, but Wednesday is my 20th wedding anniversary, so that's going to have to change. I'm just saying that now. I'm supposed to be back on Friday with Stephanie from Trillium Tarot, doing like a show and tell. She's going to bring some new tarot decks to show us. And Then next Sunday, I'll be back for some October energy reads, and Monday is part 4, the last part of this series. So tune in. Make sure your bell notification is checked off. Make sure you give us the thumbs up. You know all the things to do, friends. The wellness reading will be out, I think, on Wednesday. It comes out. Sending you guys all kinds of love and blessings, and I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you and for your support. Oh, thank you, JR. Appreciate you, my friend. All right, friends. I'm going to go eat some dinner because I'm hungry. Isadora, hang in there, my friend. All right, friends. I will let you go, and we will talk when we see each other next. And until then, I wish you many, many, many blessings. Mwah. Bye for now.